Hey. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you might be. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. How you guys doing? See who's in chat. Muscle Bike, reminding people to hit the like button on the way in. Thanks for that, Muscle Bike. And yeah, if you could do that, would be great. Atlantis, how you doing? Chuck, what's up, man? Tomer, hey. It says, finally here on time. Yeah, indeed, Tomer, right on time. TOS Move, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome, one and all, to Arm Historian Live. Every Sunday, same time, same place. Hey, Lefrenglish, how you doing? Good to see a lot of regulars here. It's gonna be a relatively short stream, I'll tell you that beforehand, up front. Just because I don't have a ton to talk about, and I'm kind of working on a video too, so I want to dedicate more time to that instead of streaming. But I still wanted to check in as every Sunday. How you guys doing? We can maybe put on WAF for a little while in the background, seeing as it's going on live right now. Let me know if the music is too loud, guys. OBS kind of updated into a new user interface. Tomer says, hi, I've just watched Devon versus Chance. I'm tired of Devon. Used to like him. There needs to be a foul or warning for disobeying the refs. Yeah, I can see how that match is kind of controversial in that way. Hey, Muscle Bike says, music volume perfect. Thanks, man. Yeah, I can kind of see how that match is controversial to some people. I kind of liked it. If not only for the fact that maybe Chance unsettled Devon there a little. And yeah, I like seeing Devon unsettled for once. Usually he's the one doing it to people, but that match I got a feeling it kind of happened to him to a certain degree. So yeah, for that fact alone, I kind of like the match. But yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. I'm kind of for more clear rules and better enforcement of rules. They don't need to be stricter. I've said this many times before. I'm not necessarily like saying we should have WAF style rules every event. But yeah, I do think we should have clearer rules and enforce them more consistently. I know it's easier said than done, but still, that's kind of how I think about it. Chuck's internet is working now. Awesome. Yeah, we kind of had an issue with the internet here. For some reason, YouTube didn't function properly using the provider that I'm using. But yeah, last time I checked it was working again. Yes, I am working on a new video. You'll have to excuse the drinking sounds. I'm kind of drinking a coffee during the live stream. Wait, 1 second. My cat wants to come in. Be right back. Okay, back. Boop Historian says, I think you guys have been waiting for me. Love that, man. I'm trying to look at the profile picture. Awesome, yeah, looks great. So natural. I love that one of my live streams actually spawned one of these accounts. Whoever you are, thank you. Muscle Bike says, Devon has been a nightmare for refs since before WAL. He ain't about to change anytime soon. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think he'll change anytime soon. That being said, that doesn't mean the way the rules are enforced can be changed. But yeah, I do hear you. I don't think Devon's gonna make any changes on that front. Arm Historian has power of creating new life. It does seem that way now, doesn't it? Although I guess most humans have that power to a degree, right? You don't have to be an arm-headed person for that. So yeah, what's been new in arm wrestling? What have I been missing? I think WAF just started today, right? The Worlds. Right now we're watching the juniors left arm finals of what looks to be one of the biggest weight classes, right? I don't know if you guys have been keeping up or how long it's been going, but I think it's just started today. Should know, maybe, I don't know. I'll have to take a look at who's entering the tournament. And maybe I'll make a compilation of some sort. I did the same thing last year, so I might do it again. I haven't been able to make my way over to the WAF. I'd like to though, one of these years. Maybe if I'll get qualified, I'll go there, but not before that time. I don't know. Might be a long time until it happens. Keep in mind, by the way, let me check the date really quick. We're the 18th of August today. The week of the 26th of August, I'll probably be doing several live streams that week. If everything goes as planned. And there'll be a couple of special guests and yeah, some interactive stuff we can do. But that's a week to look forward to as far as Arm Historian content goes. I'll be aiming to release a new video by that time too, so yeah. There'll be a new video plus I'm guessing about 3 to 4 live streams. Pretty long live streams, so yeah. Slowly crawling my way up to the 10,000 subscriber mark. Iron Golem 740 says his senior WAF being held tomorrow. Let's check that out. I'm curious too, so let's check it out. Iron Golem. Take a look. WAF 2024. I'm looking it up. I don't think the seniors will be tomorrow. Usually it's like in the weekend, the last weekend of the event. But I'm not 100% sure. So let me quickly check that for you guys. Moldova, here it is. It doesn't really tell me a lot here. It's pretty hard to find the schedule. Start date for online registration, team's arrival. Okay, here we go, I think. So yeah, there have been some things going on Friday and Saturday. Wait, I'll share the screen here with you guys if I can. So yeah, there have been some things going on Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday, first competition day, left arm sub-juniors 15, juniors 18, youth 23, okay. Opening ceremony, so that's still to happen, I guess. Oh, no, we're at the finals now, okay, that makes sense. So the finals of the left arm are today, of the sub-juniors, the juniors, and the youth 23. And then second competition day, we have the masters, I think. Oh no, that's the weigh-in for the masters and the para. We have the right arm competition for the sub-juniors, juniors and youth. Tuesday, left and right arm for the Masters. So those are the older guys. I think what is Masters, like 45 plus or 40 plus years of age. So yeah, Tuesday will be the Masters. Wednesday will be all the para arm wrestlers on the left arm. And then Thursday on the right arm, as well as the weigh-in for the seniors. Friday, left arm seniors. So Friday is the first day of senior competition on the left arm. That's Friday at 9:30. That will include the semifinals, the finals, and the awards. Okay, and then Saturday, the last day of the event, of course, will be the right arm seniors. Followed by the closing ceremony. So yeah, that does make sense. Let me quickly check out these weights, just to make sure. Is the biggest weight class 100? Oh, okay, 110 plus. Okay, that makes sense. Interesting. So yeah, now you know. Iron Golem and anyone else interested. That's the schedule of the WAF. Tomer says, I'm surprised that Chael Sonnen, Juji, Larry, and many more have quit arm wrestling, but Sam Sulek has mentioned Devon a few times. Yeah, there's a lot of people going in and out of arm wrestling, right? Because the popularity of the sport, it's still at a state where it fluctuates so much, unfortunately. Especially for content creators, it's kind of discouraging sometimes when there's periods of time where you get a ton of views on all your videos and there's a lot of new people coming into the sport very clearly. But then there's other periods like the last few months where that doesn't really happen and views go way down and it seems like there's very little growth in the sport, or at least that's how it feels, right? I'm sure it's still growing in the meanwhile, but that's how it feels sometimes. Chuck says, are we getting university level debate about impact of boobs on arm wrestling on development of human civilization between arm and boob historian? And boob historian, dearly hope so. Well, boob historian, maybe we can arrange that in about 2 weeks. I'm looking for more stuff to... I have a lot of time that week and I want to make the most out of it and do some longer live streams with some special guests and stuff. So yeah, if you want to have a debate on that, sure. Muscleback says boobs are always a winner. Ask Bob from Fight Club. I actually got that reference for once. Very good movie, good character, Bob. So yeah, that's about it. Let me quickly... No, I don't even have to check if Neil Pickup is going to be online. I might stay online for a little longer, like 15 minutes more. But if you guys want to say something, talk about something in specific, feel free to mention it in chat and I'll pick up on it a little bit. I'm trying to think of stuff that I've missed. Oh yeah, there's something I wanted to talk about. Ryan Bowen is facing Andrei Sharkovich, right? Soon? Am I misremembering that? Or I believe he was, right? Or still is? That's interesting because Andrei Sharkovich looks really, really massive and really good lately. How will Bowen have a fighting chance here? Am I just delusional in thinking, are they closer than I think they are? Because it seems like Andrei Sharkovich would just, you know, win over Bowen pretty easily. Just looking at them, you know? Maybe I'm misremembering how Andrei Sharkovich actually looks. Tomer says, and Auden is facing the Korean Hulk. Yeah, that will be good. Looking forward to the day where Auden gets some actual really tough opponents. Iron Golem says, Ryan competing with complete subscapularis tear, tendon tear is not the smartest thing in the world. Tripped over that word. Yeah, like competing with any injury, especially tendon tears and stuff, especially if they're only... Oh, it's a complete tear. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he shouldn't. Chuck says, I kind of stopped believing in Ryan after his performance. About almost everyone. I get it. I've met Ryan personally. I talked with him quite a bit and even like worked with him on some stuff. Or worked for him on some stuff. So I've got nothing against Ryan. But I hear you. I hear you. I wish him all the best in his matches, also with Andre. It looks like he's, yeah, in for a big fight, I don't know. I'm not even sure about Mindaugas and Bowen. Yeah, I get that. I did hear that Ryan Bowen is becoming like one of the official commentators for the Pro Panja League, right? If I'm not mistaken, which is a really good thing. I think Ryan Bowen is a good commentator. I'm sure he could beat me on the table as well, but I'm just saying he's definitely a good commentator. And I think a lot of people feel that way. Whenever I see him mentioned somewhere and people actually feel like saying something positive, that's usually what they go with, right, when it comes to Ryan. Tomer says, I think Ryan is great as a commentator. He was really good at East vs. West before the fallout. Yeah. I've talked about this many times before, but there is so much infighting in arm wrestling, so much behind the scenes politics and stuff. Iron Golem says, what's your weight and height, arm historian? You sound like a strong dude. There's a couple of people in chat maybe that have seen me in real life. Yeah, I'm about, I don't know, somewhere in the, I don't know in feet how much, like 195 to 198, depending on what time of day and, yeah, which shoes I'm wearing, I guess, in centimeters. And then my weight is about 130 kilograms, so, yeah, I'm definitely in the supers. When I compete, it's with the big boys. Hey, Talpal, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Talking about big people. Talpal coming in the chat. But I don't mind pulling in the heaviest weight class. I don't mind it. Sometimes some of my training buddies pull up in weight. And yeah, I can't even do that if I wanted to. It seems like it has ended, but we'll go back a little bit to take a look at some other matches maybe that happened. One thing, you can fault WAF for a lot of things, but one thing that I think they're really good at is fair use of their footage. Basically, it goes farther than fair use because they're basically okay with using their footage in whichever way you see fit. So if you want to make a compilation, if you want to live stream it, if you want to do whatever with it, everything apart from straight re-uploading it, I think they're good with. So yeah, bravo for the WAF on that front. I wish some other leagues would follow that example. Maybe not to the same degree, but... Tomer says, tall dude and about twice my weight. Yeah, my weight is far from clean. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. But, yeah, I'm slowly getting there. Still a lot of weight that I just want to get rid of. But I think I have a pretty solid base so far. I'm actually getting some wins in tournaments lately, so that's good. I remember very first tournament I entered, there wasn't an amateur division or anything like that, so yeah, the very first match I got put against the dude that was smaller than me, weight less than me, but I definitely knew what he was doing, and I think he beat me in like a second or something. Didn't take long. How are you guys' tournaments doing? You guys going to any tournaments? I think I got some footage somewhere that people asked me to take a look at. Maybe I can dig that up. Let me quickly look. That goes for everyone, by the way. If you ever want me to take a look at some footage on stream, whether it's trading footage or you competing in a match or a tournament, whatever, you can always just send it to me on any of my social media. And eventually, it might take a couple of weeks, but eventually I'll get to it. If I collect enough of them, I'll make a part of a stream out of it, watching the footage together with chat, commenting on it. Chuck says, that's good to hear, although I never can make myself watch these tournaments. I tried a few times, but I always fall off. Yeah. I can't watch the entirety of WAF, and I never have before. It's too much. There's a point where there's too much arm wrestling, and I think WAF certainly reaches that point. Topal says, my ulnar nerve still jacked up, but messed up for about 6 months now. Just won't heal up. That sucks, man. Yeah, maybe try and change something up in the way you're trying to, like, do revalidation. I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one. I have a persistent injury too on my right wrist. That's been going on for, yeah, almost nearing a year now. It's had up and downs. I've entered tournaments in the meanwhile where it was okay, but then after the tournament it felt 10 times worse again, so kind of been going up and down for the last year or something. And my right wrist is my stronger one, usually. Definitely my right arm is way stronger than my left arm. Don't ask me why. Tomer says, I don't compete ever. I've arm wrestled at school when some people were doing it at break time on a bin. Yeah, but you're still pretty young though, Tomer. Are there any clubs near you, or have you not really checked it out yet? Chuck says, I don't know 90% of people there, and all I see is some flash pins. Yeah, that's basically what tournament arm wrestling comes down to, right? To me, it's the most fun when I watch tournaments, like in real life. What makes it fun is that there's actually people participating that you know, right? Actually people you can root for. And you kind of fit in somewhere in the hierarchy of the people in the room at that point. So, yeah, it's good to see your competition, quote-unquote, perform, right? Maybe learn a couple of things by watching them. Hey, Dan John in the chat, how you doing, man? Good to see you, good to see you. Welcome. Welcome. I just saw Topal mention that he's just been enjoying the last of a very quick summer. And yeah, I can relate, although part of the summer here felt a little long because it's been really warm. It's only just been cooling down for the last 2 days or something. And I'm really not a good guy to handle heat, so I'm glad that it's cooling down now. I'm glad that we seem to have passed the worst of the heat wave. Tomer says, there are some clubs about an hour away from me, but no one at school knows about arm wrestling, so I win pretty easily. Don't need to train cupping because no one knows what pronation is. Yeah, I get it. Especially after some time trading and table time, it doesn't happen often where you meet people in the wild that have never arm wrestled properly that you can't beat after a while. Yeah. But that makes sense, right? That goes for any sport, I think. Chuck says, feels the same. I could never get into football or any team sports. I need someone I can root for personally and get to know him. Yep, makes a lot of sense to me. Same thing for me. Football is really big here. Soccer. Where I live, it's kind of a religion sometimes. And I never got really that into it. Got a little bit into basketball for a while there, but then never really followed it like I did arm wrestling. to be fair, arm wrestling is, of all the sports I've tried in my life, I think arm wrestling has suited me the best so far. And yeah, like, I don't know, on just a natural level, so to speak, as in just feels the most natural to me, and seems like I started at a decent level at least compared to other sports. So yeah, that really got me into it at first. Not to say I was or am great at arm wrestling or anything, because I'm not. Don't take that the wrong way. But that is one of the things that got me into the sport. What's happening here? I like their new background. Like, the flags look really good. It's the Moldovan flag, I'm guessing. I think this is the sub-junior girls division. Let's see how they're doing. It's really interesting seeing people this young competing at a high level in arm wrestling. I don't think there's even a juniors class in my country's nationals. Not that I know of. Still undecided if I'm gonna enter this year. Kinda need to decide really quick, because in 12 days is the deadline for registering. But it's 70 euros per arm per weight class, so I'm kind of, if my right wrist doesn't feel good, and I'm kind of assured of losing, not doing that well, then I don't know if I want to spend 70 to 140 euros on entering the tournament. One of my training partners is entering for sure, so I'll probably be going to support him and like just hang around and maybe pull on the side table a little. But yeah, still kind of undecided. Chuck says, I feel like in most team sports, many times they make one player the player, but I feel it's fake and most of their identity is I am good in sport. I can see that. Tomer says, I don't play football, but I'm coming around to liking it partly because I want to be a part of a greater whole. English football is very popular. I want to talk about a sport with my friends. Yeah, I get that for sure. Yeah. I guess through osmosis and just growing up in like a culture where football was big, I'm not completely unversed in football because of that. You know, I retained some information, and I've played football several times in my life just because, yeah, everyone played it growing up. But yeah, still not particularly interesting to me. But I see your point. It's always fun to be able to talk with your friends, right, about something you have in common. Hey, Phil Woody, how you doing? Hope you're keeping well, man. Hey, what's up, lads? Late again, but good to see the usual suspects here. Yeah, man. You're all good. It's not gonna be a long stream. I don't know how much longer I'll manage to last. I'm drinking a coffee to kind of stay with it. It's been kind of a tiring day. For those of you who missed it, definitely try to maybe keep in mind that in 2 weeks, or yeah, about 1 week, I believe, let me double check the dates. Yeah, so the week of the 26th of August, there's probably gonna be quite a bit of live streams and a new video dropping. So yeah, mark that in your schedules. And drop in if you can. I'm gonna have a couple of special guests on, and we're doing some fun interactive stuff with the audience too. Some viewer call-ins will happen as well one of those days. So yeah, definitely look forward to that. They'll probably be pretty long live streams, so even if you miss part of it, you'll still get to participate. Hey, thanks for linking my video on East vs West 14 muscle bike. Yeah, those videos aren't really doing well. I can't blame people, of course, because it's like, what more can I say before the events happen? I feel like, I don't know. feel like I probably should put more time into previous kind of videos that I made instead of those videos, right? That's my inkling, but it's part of the deal, so I have to make them. Tomer says, what are your thoughts on John winning the Fantasy League? Do you think it's realistic? I do think that Devon loses to John, but Vitaly could beat John pretty easy, I think. And then there's Dennis. Yeah, I don't think John, Prime John, I said this during the Fantasy League. He still won, but I don't think a Prime John would beat a couple of other people in their prime. I think he would do well, for sure, but I think he would still lose to perhaps Prime Devon, Prime Vitaly, etc. I think there's a couple of people in their primes who could beat a John Brezink in his prime. It just feels like the entire field has moved forward and has become stronger, so... Iron Golem 740 says, what's your favorite arm wrestling exercise to train? That's a good question. It's been going kind of back and forth between a couple for the past years. About 6 months ago, I think, we've bought like an implement you can attach to the table, which has helped. Probably kind of, how do I even say this? Probably like wrist curls, but like extended wrist curls, like attaching a fat grip to some weights and wrist curling it in, if that makes sense. I don't know, how do you call those? Yeah, for sure, Chuck. I'm sure you're special to a lot of people in your life in a lot of moments. Don't sell yourself short. But for sure, you're welcome to call in. I don't know, for a while I did karate bands with like loose weights attached to it. And kind of working my pronator like that and doing rising and stuff. Depending on where you attach it on your hand. But lately I've been kind of going off them a little bit and focusing more on all-around strength training. Still with some specific arm wrestling movements mixed in, but I feel like I need to train my entire body too while I'm doing it. Especially because there is still some excess weight and stuff there, so... Phil Woody says, I'm great. Thanks, Arm Historian. Really enjoying arm wrestling right now. Pulling weekly. Awesome. I've booked my flight for East vs. West 15 and looking forward to Arm God's Winter Blast in March of 2025. Yeah, that'll be great. It's really awesome to hear that you're pulling more, Phil Woody. Yeah, I think you'll do well. Will you be competing at some tournament or... Because I do think they're organizing tournaments both at East vs. West and probably at Winter Blast too, right? Like an open tournament or something. But yeah, I'm thinking of other exercises that I do specifically geared towards arm wrestling. I don't know, sometimes I do I'm thinking of a way to say this in English, because usually when I talk about these things with my training partners and stuff, we're talking in my native language. But like a one-arm bicep curl, but like a static hold over a bench. Kind of like Devon's old lift. I've done that a couple of times at the gym. Chuck says, okay, my training coming to an end. I'll need to hop on a bus. Maybe I'll be back in time before the live ends. All good, Chuck. Have safe travels, man. The Fearless Spectrum, how you doing? Says traveling is expensive nowadays. Very expensive, yeah. Very, very expensive. Even traveling for a short distance can be really expensive, depending on when you plan it and how you intend to go. Train used to be really cheap traveling across Europe, but not the case anymore. Used to be able to get around really cheaply by using trains and buses, but even that is, yeah, quickly fading in my neck of the woods, unfortunately. Phil Woody says, entering tournament. Yes, but in truth, I prefer super matches. Awesome, Phil. Yeah, I hope to see you in more super matches soon, man. I hope I'll be able to cover you on my channel in one way or another. Some side table action from Arm Gods Wales. Let me take a look. Mind if I share it on stream, Phil? Always interested in sharing people's submissions here. People's matches. Muscle Bike says, super matches are a better spectator sport. Yeah, I think I agree. Like I said, if you have personal connections to people in a tournament, I think it can be fine to watch. But in general, yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. Muscleback says, Arm Gods won't strike you, Arm Historian. We'll leave that to Engin. I think this is straight from Phil Woody. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry. I don't think Phil will strike me anytime soon. Maybe that was his plan all along. Hey, Phil Woody, thanks, man. Okay, confirming we can show it through a super sticker or whatever it's called. Thank you so much, Phil. It's very generous, man. I appreciate it. Let's take a look at Phil Woody, shall we? Here he is on the left. Recognize him, of course. After pulling. Looks good, Phil. Yeah. Good keeping that side pressure up. Yeah, man. You lost your wrist a little, but you never lost your pronation. Keep nice and high too. I like it. Yeah. Good, man. Really good. Yep, using back pressure when necessary to counter. Awesome. It's looking smooth, Phil. Yeah. Looking really good. I like it. Hey, Atlantis says, out delivering, been lurking though. Forgot to hit send on his 2 emojis. That's okay, Atlantis. I hope you're keeping safe while delivering. Keep up the grind, man. The Fearless Spectrum says, doing good. Cannot wait to arm wrestle friend of mine. I'm always 100 times in high school against him. Do one arm pull up. His name is Matthew. Gymnastics are strong. He needs to join the sport. Yeah, I think people that have a background in certain sports can do really well in arm wrestling. Two guys from my training group are have been doing calisthenics for a long time before they got into arm wrestling. And yeah, their connections are just really solid straight from the start. Hey, NLV, what's up, man? Good to see you. Welcome. Coming in at the tail end of the stream, kind of. Yeah, man, looks really good, Phil. You should be proud, man. Really technical, which I like to see. Not just blasting through the sides. Tomer says about training, does anyone disagree with Devon's training style very strongly? Because I think it's just ridiculous. Yeah. I talked with Reno when he was lost on the live stream. I talked with him a little about it. I think part of it is probably... you have to keep in mind that people with a big following like Devon, the stuff they put forth for people to see is the stuff that will get most attention, right? Most clicks at the end of the day. That doesn't mean that he doesn't believe what he's saying or he doesn't train that way, because I'm sure he does. But yeah, he'll probably be more likely to show lifts and training styles that will cause people to click, right? Which are usually the more out there kind of lifts, if you know what I mean. Reno talks about this quite a bit too, where he's like, yeah, if you just do traditional arm wrestling lifts, the one that, in his opinion, translate best to the table, you'll probably get less exposure. Which is sad, but that's the reality of it, right? Now that being said, I do think there's a lot of people, especially at the top level, that use techniques and do certain lifts that I think aren't, let's say, optimal, right? That's my opinion. It's just, the sport is still in a stage where it's really hard to pin down, like, what is the best training method, right? Which is, in one way, it's very exciting, because it means there's still so much to discover about arm wrestling and how to best practice it, and there might come a day when someone figures something out. Yeah, so in that sense it's really exciting, but in another sense it's it has to be keeping the sport back a little bit, right? Because if new people want to find out what the best way for training is, and they're gonna look at some of the top guys in the sport, they're gonna get 10 different kinds of training advice, right? There will be some similarities, but I'm sure if you're gonna ask a Toddzilla or a Michael Todd how you should train, it's gonna be two completely different answers. Atlantis is waiting for an order at the moment. So far so good, thank you, man. Yeah, man. Tear it up on the streets. Get people their food. It's a good thing to do. At least that's what I'm assuming you're doing. Maybe you're supplying people with something different than food. I don't know. Tomer says, I got into arm wrestling from climbing and calisthenics, but I found arm wrestling from a video that Magnus Midbow did with Devon, and then I found WL. Yeah, I like Magnus. And I saw most of those videos too. Like, they did a lot of climbing / arm wrestling collaboration videos. The Fearless Spectrum says he dodges his soldier worn me out. Don't really know what that means, but okay, the Fearless. Atlantis says, I'll body these 50k youth women. They don't want any. Trust me. I'm sure they're shivering in their boots. Let's skip forward a little. Maybe we can find someone more suitable to face Atlantis. What about these women? Can you still beat him, Atlantis? Yeah, for sure, NLV. The way you train, of course, depends on your style of arm wrestling, but the fact that there's no set of exercises that universally people will say these are the exercises, right? Even if you're gonna look at it style per style. Training fundamentals is always important, says NLV. True. Tomer says, I think training is simple. Train it like any other muscle with full range of motion, isolation, and controlled negatives. Make sure the weight you're lifting is perpendicular to gravity. Yeah, I think, of course, the general rules of weightlifting still apply. It's just which muscle groups are you going to try to isolate, and how are you going about that isolation, right? People also forget that arm wrestling is a pretty tendon-intensive sport too. It takes a toll on your tendons, so if you want to incorporate strengthening those in any way in your training, you're also gonna have to keep that in mind. Atlantis says, who am I kidding? They'd murder me. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, Atlantis. I don't know you. Maybe you'd murder them. Eric Harlan is challenging Atlantis to a left-handed match. How are you doing, Eric? And LV says, for sure, have a blown elbow at the moment. Tendons are very, very important, yeah. Sometimes I think back to like my first months in the sport, and I kind of forget how much I suffered through that. Especially coming from someone who never really had much of a sporting background. I mean, I lifted a little bit before that, but nothing serious. Played a little bit of basketball here and there, but yeah, never really strengthened my tendons before that, so that was kind of a wake-up call, and I think it is for many people. If I think back to some people who tried arm wrestling for the first time with us, usually they would give up after trying it once because yeah, it just took such a long time for them to recover, right? And I think that mainly has to do with their tendons. Eric says, too much iron can cause joint problems. Come to find out here. Recently donating plasma and the culprit red meat. Go figure, yeah. I get that. A lot of people say plant-based diet would be bad or something for your strength, but I'm not really one to believe that, to be honest. Gian, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Muscle Bike says, my tendons hurt way more than anyone else in history. Fact. It always feels that way, doesn't it? I hear you loud and clear. And LV says, mine was on me. I was flop pressing outside of my shoulder. Damn. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, pressing is something... I don't know. I don't know whether it's because of my lever or something, but it never felt that good to me. Especially pressing from a losing position or trying to get my shoulder behind it from a losing position was always really tough for me. I never had to flop wrist press because usually I kept my wrist in hand. But I'm sure it would be nice if I could learn how to do it properly. It's just difficult in a training environment to train those kinds of moves. At least for me it is. I know one of my training partners is really comfortable with a press in general, also a flop wrist press. But I just, for some reason, yeah, it never came naturally to me. Phil Woody says, collagen lads, works wonders. Never tried, Phil. Eric Harlan says, Muhammad Ali was a vegetarian, maybe the way to go. Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying you would get stronger on a vegetarian diet. I'm just saying I know people that are still strong and have a vegetarian diet. The Freeless Spectrum says, that's rough, I have shoulder pain sometimes. Deep hook. Yeah, I get you. Especially when I started hooking at first. It was mainly my elbow that started hurting again. It was like a completely different pressure than when I top rolled. Because I started off learning how to top roll and then after a while started hooking more and more. It was like starting all over again. JR says, hey there, Arm Historian, I just wanted to thank you for the unbelievably good documentaries on Devon. Most recently Engin, keep them coming, awesome content, and I wish you all the best. Well, I appreciate that a lot, JR. Thank you for taking the time to write that message out. I truly appreciate it. It's people like you, even if you just sent one message really quick, it's keeping me motivated. So thanks again, man. It means a lot. I'm glad you enjoy it. If you ever have any suggestions for future topics, hit me up. Vital Proteins is a really good brand. I'll have to look into that NLV on Amazon, like you said. Eric says, I know it's confusing, especially finding this out because I love steak. I got you, man. Some people have a hard time saying bye to their meat, which is understandable. NLV says, of course, hope it works for you. Tomer says, all of the muscles, the arm wrestling muscles are all very small. Even the bicep, they are very small and recover quickly. Pronation with full range of motion, the wrist can hurt, so do it 1 or 2 a week. Yeah, I definitely agree that, well, for me personally at least, if I overtrain, my wrists are the first thing that suffer. Definitely the case, especially if I'm combining too much table practice with arm wrestling specific lifts, then I feel like my wrist is the weak spot after a while. Hey Dan, how you doing? Dan Plexman in the chat. Good to see you. So yeah, maybe I should... I've been toying around with the idea of putting out some training videos for the members. So maybe I'll do that when I have a little time next week for my training. Could also live stream a training maybe. I'm trying to figure out a way to set up a live stream in 2 weeks. I'm doing several live streams in a row. For those of you that have joined the stream late, I've said this earlier in the stream. The week of the 26th, I believe, the 26th of August, that week I'll be going live 3 to 4 times longer than I usually do. I have a couple of guests lined up, gonna do viewer call-ins, a couple of other interactive stuff, and I'm looking to change my setup for that week so I can switch camera views to an actual arm wrestling training, right? And maybe stream part of my training. Would be nice, I think. Hey, the Claymore, how you doing? James Stewart in the chat. Good to see you. Dan Plexman is getting ready for IFA Greece in 6 weeks. I hope you do well, Dan Plexman. I wish you all the best, of course. Answer me this, Dan. Does the fact that you're entering IFA means that you couldn't enter WAF? Even if you were qualified or whatever? I'm curious. Eric says, I can say I have done collagen powder peptide since my start in September of 2022. I've tried Vital Protein. I also drink bone broth beef for a natural collagen intake. I don't know the best combination. That's fair. Like I said, I haven't tried messing with more collagen in whichever form, but I might have to give that a look. Claymore says training hard. Well, you kind of have to, Claymore. You're kind of at the top of the pack over there, so yeah. I've thought this before, and I've also said this. I think the Claymore, James Stewart, is one of these guys that in a couple of years we'll see on the really big stage doing his thing. He's got the build for it. I believe he has a mentality for it. He's a really cool and nice guy. So I think he would fit in really nicely with, yeah, in the big league, so to speak. Commonwealth champ in the house, indeed. Dan Plexman says, yes, I'm banned from WAF because I've competed in IFA. That's crazy to me, man. That's really crazy. That's the way I thought it was. At a certain point, pretty early on my channel, I wanted to do a video on WAF and like all the controversies and politics and stuff, but once I got into it, it just dawned on me how much information and stuff is out there and how difficult it is to get certain people to talk on it from the side of the WAF. I tried contacting pretty high up people there and nobody really got back to me. So yeah, it got frustrating and I thought, fuck this. Yeah, I'll work on something else. Eric Arlen says, but Arnold Schwarzenegger says natural intake should be cheap and then take the supplements because of the definition. Makes a lot of sense to me. NLV says the WAF IFA thing sucks. I agree, NLV. It seems really difficult the more time I spend talking to people behind the scenes, kind of organizers of tournament and people deeply involved, people with a lot of knowledge about stuff. The more I kind of sense that there's not a lot of leagues that really get along well. Like there's a ton of in and out fighting. Unfortunately. That's the way it is. I don't think our sport can really afford function that way at the moment. I think we're way too small to be fighting amongst each other. But yeah, unfortunately, that's the way it is. It's a lot of really big egos. I don't think I'm really that way. I think it takes a lot to get into a fight with me. Too much shit, says Chuck. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Muscle Bike. Indeed, Muscle Bike hits on a good point here. We hear from it so little. And it's such a mess when you get into the whole history of the thing. Of like, WAF basically... Yeah. How can I put this delicately? There's a lot of other organizations that WAF doesn't have a good relationship with. Which, you know, it's their prerogative, right? They do things their way. And it's that way or the highway, and I guess it's up to them, right? But I don't think it's conducive to growing the sport in any way. The Claymore says, I like collagen before training, gets into the blood when you train, the tendons and muscle gets more benefit. Interesting. Chuck says, there are people you pay to dive in shit and they make good money. Like in a literal sense? People to dive in shit, like people that work in sewers or something? What are you? What are you referring to here, Chuck? Tomer says he's PAL and branch of the many leagues banned from WAF. Does that mean Devon is banned from WAF? I don't think so. I don't think because you participated in the PAL at a certain point you'd be banned from the WAF, because none of athletes that did participate in PAL tournaments and that still participate in the WAF or have participated afterwards in the WAF, so I don't think so. I don't know if Devon is banned in particular. I don't think so. I know he entered one WAF Worlds in his life, like 2001 or something, but yeah. Muscle Bike says, Eric, thanks, I will keep my eyes peeled. Okay, talking about the collagen. Dan Plexman says, I'm the 80 kilogram standing disabled IFA 4-time world champion, both arms, and I've openly posted and challenged the WAF champion in a super match, but no response. That's too bad, Dan Plexman. I knew I saw that name before. Congratulations, by the way, that's crazy. 4-time world champs on both arms. Really awesome. Will you be... Oh yeah, of course. I was about to ask, will you be participating in the WAF? That's on screen right now, but of course you won't. That's what we're talking about here. But yeah, Dan, if I ever want to make a video about WAF and IFA and stuff like that and the whole thing that happened there, I'll be sure to contact you if you don't mind. Good to have that connection. And LV says creatine as well. Yeah, that's something I do take. I say take as if it's some kind of illicit drug, but that's something I do use as well. Chuck says, I always find it mind-boggling how much teens drama are in high-level sports organization. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Because you're talking about like full-grown men. A lot of them with huge egos and like strong, burly men. But then there's so much behind-the-scenes drama. It's crazy to me too. It's hard to comprehend. With some corruption sprayed on top, says Chuck, I'm sure that's part of it. To be fair, that's the case with, yeah, any organization that contains any human element with a hierarchy. The Claymore says, yes, creatine is the most studied supplement, yeah. Usually I take something when the foundation is scientifically solid, if that makes sense. Kind of a science slut in that way. That's why you won't see me taking any stem cells or anything like that anytime soon, or like putting needles into me, or cupping. Damn, yeah, cupping is one of those things. I saw an arm wrestler not too long ago with like cupping marks on his arm. Thought like, what the hell? Now they're doing that. Devin isn't natty, so yes, he is banned, says NLV. Maybe, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people at WAF who aren't natty, to be fair. Boop Historian says, if the stream is almost over, perhaps we could talk after. Hit me up anytime, Boop Historian. Of course, getting together with someone that looks nearly similar to me, just with more voluptuous boobs, is a lifelong dream. Dan Plexman says, muscle bike is just how it is. I'm not sure why, but it's just a deal. I just want to pull. Yeah, I get you there, Dan Plexman. I think a lot of people should have that mentality, right? Including tournament organizers, just let people pull. But that's what you get if you involve money and big business, which I get, of course. Creatine is good shit, said Eric. Yeah. Eric Harlan says, Dan Plexman is a burn victim and an inspiration for arm wrestling. Watch some of his footage. I will for sure. Eric Harlan, I will for sure. Thanks, Dan Plexman. Yeah, I will be hitting you up. Sorry if I'm not fully up to speed on your career. But yeah, it does sound like you know your stuff, judging by the many titles you have. Tomer says it's like a clan war between two gangs. Yeah, it is. But then with like 20 other gangs of differing size shouting from the sidelines at each other. This is not something that's exclusive to WAF or IFA, like the inter-tournament, inter-organizational fighting and arguing and moaning and frankly bitching. Happens between a ton of leagues. In fact, I'm not really familiar with any league that doesn't have some I don't know, in some cases preconceived notion of another league. Dan Plexman says, but Eric, I'm a survivor, not a victim. Good correction there, Dan Plexman. Makes a lot of sense to me. Why would you ever look at yourself like a victim, right? Boss Royale, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Hey, Lat Rousseau in the chat too. Hello there, hope you're doing well. Muscle Bike says, I saw two girls cupping a few years ago. I can never unsee that. I want to make a video really badly on weird stuff arm wrestlers use and believe in. Like weird medical stuff they do, medical quote-unquote stuff they do. Strange treatments. I don't know what to call it yet. I'm still like kind of workshopping it, but yeah. That video is definitely gonna come at one point or another. The Claymore says, how can people admit taking gear and not getting WAF ban? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's definitely possible, right? Maybe the WAF specifies that you need to test positive on their specific tests in order to get banned. I don't know. Lat Rousseau says, waft up politics. Iron Golem says, what do you think Travis will do next? I recall him saying that he was afraid of losing even before his comeback, and now he has lost twice in a row. Yeah, I don't know. I hope he keeps at it, but honestly, yeah, the level of competition he had to face was pretty big. I don't really know why they picked those matches for his comeback matches, but yeah. Maybe for the money, I don't know. I think he should have started with people a little lower on the totem pole, if I'm being completely honest. I know Travis is a legend of the sport, I'm fully aware of all his accomplishments, and I'm sure, yeah, he'd still beat most of the field, but come on. You're kind of throwing him in with the big boys and then expecting him to do well. Straight out of the gates. I don't think a lot of people can do that. Chuck says, how big is the King's Move gang? I heard they play dirty. Yeah, that's another move I'm really not good at. King's moving. My King's Move is about as bad as my press, although even worse, I think, than my press. I wish we had someone that was really proficient at the King's Move in our training group. So you could at least train against it a little. Boss Royale says, Mr. Arm, do you go to an arm wrestling club? Not really. I wouldn't call it an arm wrestling club. We have a training group here where I live, because there's not really a club that nearby. But yeah, sometimes a club organizes a tournament or like a big training day or something like that, and then of course I will attend. So yes and no, I guess. I have a training group, a small group of guys that I train with on a weekly basis. It used to be 2 times a week, but now it's changed to 1 time a week. But I wouldn't really call it a club. Eric Harlan says, Arm historian, I took the syringe 6 times for an injury in my right elbow, and that was back in October last year. Is BPC 157, whatever that is. Now I can tell you tendinitis, etc. hasn't happened after multiple practices. Okay, interesting. Yeah, stuff like that is really interesting, and I love to learn more about it. I don't put a lot of stock into anecdotes, like the one you presented to me, but I do think it's usually a good starting point for more research, right? Because usually an anecdote like that does pique my interest, and does lead me to research it some more. So it's not like personal anecdotes have no value, right? I think they do. Latrousseau says Travis should start with lower ranked guys. Didn't John start with Chance on his comeback? Yeah, he did. And I think that would have been a good route to go for Travis. I agree 100%. BTNT, how you doing? Says, I'm curious how you get all the information for your Rise and Fall episodes. Would be really cool if you could do phone interviews with some of these athletes and really dive deep into their lives. I agree. I'm definitely going to be trying to incorporate more interviews in my videos. I did that for a couple of videos, not the Rise and Fall, but a couple of other videos. It's difficult, you know. Some athletes are really receptive to doing that, and I've talked to athletes after the episode and before the episode I made on them. But some subjects are, how do I put this, more sensitive, right? I understand that not every subject is easy for an athlete to talk about, and I want to be complete, so sometimes getting to know the athlete well before I make my video on them, I think would lead to more bias in my video and to possibly a less correct representation of that athlete, if that makes sense, right? That being said, I do think there is a lot of value in doing those interviews and incorporating them in some way. I think I should strive to do that while still remaining unbiased. Hope you enjoy your vacation, White Wolf. Hey, Muscle Bike coming in with a super chat. Thank you so much, Muscle Bike. Way too generous of you. There's a video about obscure medical approaches to the sport is a great idea. Devin and his bee stings will concur. Yeah, I think it will draw a lot of ire from people, right? From a lot of people who kind of live and die by these treatments and who may or may not be sponsored by some of the companies providing these treatments, right? So it is a tough subject to tackle. I've been working on and off on it for a long time now, trying to find the best approach to take there. But yeah, thanks for saying it's a great idea. I'll definitely be putting it out there. And thanks for the super chat, man. That's really, really generous of you. Don't have to do that. You support the channel like crazy already, Muscle Bike, but I always appreciate it, of course. Good to see you, by the way, White Wolf. Good that you could make it. Eric Harlan says, if you want to talk anecdotes, YouTube, etc., has a lot of anecdotes for you, and all are positive. Yeah, but like, okay, you're talking about a sample size of like what, 50 people on YouTube that say a certain treatment works, and then you have to keep in mind that some of these people might be sponsored by that treatment or a company that provides that treatment, and I don't think a lot of these people were monitored in any kind of double-blind way or in any kind of scientific way, right? So there's still not a lot of data to look at. You could point to them and say, okay, it's more likely that this treatment works, and I would agree there. It's more likely. Now, how much more likely, I don't know. But yeah, that's still not a way to really see if something, to like determine the efficacy of something, right? Boss Royale says the way arm wrestling works is weird. There's never been one long-term league. Once the promotion disappears, like the WAL, another just comes and fills the vacuum. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of different reasons for that, and I think the main reason is still profitability, right? I talked about this earlier in the stream for a short while. I think it's really hard to monetize a sport that is still so young and that fluctuates a lot. Even though, like, if it's not football season, quote unquote, or another popular sport, basketball season or whatever, a lot of people will still follow it, and there's still like the, how do I say, the floor is still really high on the amount of people that will be watching the sport and will be interacting with content and so on. I think with arm wrestling that's not the case, and I see this in my own viewer numbers, and a lot of other channels are noticing the same thing as I talk to them. The floor is really low in arm wrestling, so some seasons viewership is really noticeably down, and fluctuations depending on people online picking up the sport or a new influx of viewers in one way or another is really up and down still in arm wrestling. So I think it's very hard to monetize anything related to that. That makes sense, right? To me it does. Eric Harlan says, no, even docs too. Okay, you're talking about like specific injections, right? Okay, yeah, it might be. I'm not saying like those injections don't work. I'm just saying, okay, if there's science behind it, actual tests over a longer period than a couple of years, and actual papers written on it, and yeah, I'd love to take a look at it, and then it could be really effective, right? I'm just saying, whether or not some doctors prescribe it or people talk about anecdotally, that isn't really a good way to go about seeing if it truly works, right? That's my opinion. You're free to disagree there. I know a lot of people hold some treatments as really dear because it worked for them, and they believe 100% in that it works, and who am I to say that it doesn't, right? So I'm not gonna like argue with people, this doesn't work 100%. All I'm saying is, in my opinion, getting to if something actually works on a consistent basis, anecdotes are not the best way to getting there. And that's not only for treatment, that goes for, in my opinion, most things in life. If you want to get to the truth, there are better ways than that. The Claymore says the stem cell is overrated, it's not the treatment. Yeah, I get what you mean, the Claymore. Boss Royale says, so how long is East vs West gonna last before it eventually dies? I hope it lasts a really long time. I'm not a soothsayer of any kind, Boss Royale, so I don't know. I don't care to speculate on it either. I think, yeah, I just wish it a really long life. And I hope a lot of other leagues can thrive too in the same environment. Hey, White Wolf coming in with the $10 super chat. Thanks so much, White Wolf, another person that's Way too fucking generous. Super chats never needed. You'll never hear me asking to give me super chats or anything. But yeah, I do dearly appreciate it, White Wolf. Your support means a lot. Says toss the caber in here. Toss the caber here at the Highland Games. What is a caber? Not super far, but I got it end over end and in a straight line. Hashtag Claymore. Anyone else in the chat ever tossed the caber? Is it like the big tree trunks or... yeah, probably some kind of other unwieldy weight. That's awesome. Yeah, Highland Games always looked really cool to me. Strongman in general is pretty awesome, I think. It's another thing that I can enjoy watching from time to time. I have someone messaging me on Steam. Sorry for the pings you're getting there. It actually is one of my training partners. Let me tell him quickly that I'm live streaming. The Claymore says proper rest is key. Yeah, I think one of the dangers with all these treatments and stuff is people might use it. I'm not saying all of the people are doing this, obviously, but some people might use it as a crutch, right, in a way. Or like I think that's the danger with a lot of pseudo-scientific treatments. People will replace actual medicine with pseudo-medicine, with alternative medicine, right? And I think that's where some of the danger of these things lies. But I'll get more into that in a video I'm undoubtedly making about it. Interesting, Eric Harlan. Muscle bike does enough tossing as it is. Thanks again for the super chat, guys. Really generous. Dan Plexman says, I'd love WAL to come back. Max Taubin would be my first choice. I know he was sandbagging me in January practice. Yeah. I'd love WAL to come back too. Had a lot of interesting characters, always had a lot of atmosphere to it. So yeah, I do agree for sure. I wish it would come back too. Unfortunately, I don't see... there's been rumors, right? The last couple of years, but I don't see Steve Kaplan getting involved anytime soon again, unfortunately. Muscle Bike coming in with another £5 super chat. Thank you so much, Muscle Bike. Says, here's the super chat that would have gone to Aussie Arm Wrestler back in the day. Talking about infighting there. Only to my benefit, apparently. Thank you so much, Muscle Bike. You guys are too much. But I do appreciate it. Boss Royale says, wasn't there rumors about the WAL coming back? What happened? Yeah. If COVID didn't happen, would we still have WAL? No, I don't think so. Maybe we would have some kind of WAL Super Series still. But I don't think we'd have WAL the same way we had in its heyday. It was kind of... They were losing sponsors already. And kind of deteriorating in a way. Especially their old format, so... I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so personally. Don't think it was a sustainable business model. What do I know, right? Iron Golem says, I don't understand how sports like strongman and powerlifting are more popular than arm wrestling. They are so one-dimensional and boring to watch personally because you already know what's going to happen. Yeah, I agree to a degree. I think there's a lot of critiques people could levy at arm wrestling. Especially I've noticed this when I watch arm wrestling events with people who aren't necessarily arm wrestlers or that into arm wrestling. There's a lot of downtime. So yeah, I do get you. I do get what you're saying. I enjoy arm wrestling way more than those sports too. But yeah, a lot of people can levy some... I think good critiques, right? It's not like they're wrong. And then Plexman says, you guys see the top ref on screen right now? I don't, but it's kind of hidden. Eric Harlan says, rest is totally key. I agree there. Tomer says, have you got any arm wrestling hot takes? Yeah, I think just talking about stem cells not being as good as a lot of arm wrestlers say they are is a hot take for some reason. I've got a lot of pushback on that one. Chuck says, oh, what with Ozzy and Engin? Yeah. Hey, no worries, Chuck. See you next time, man. Thanks for dropping by. I won't be online for too long. I only wanted to make this like a half-hour stream, but then you guys kind of kept me here with your arm wrestling conversations. Let me quickly check if Neil is going live at the usual time. I'll be stopping the stream in 5 minutes or something either way, I think, but I'm gonna quickly check if he's doing the fix today. Doesn't look like it. Maybe he'll still go online, but it doesn't look like it. Medieval Dead, how you doing, man? Says, dang, I keep missing these. Hello, Arm Historian. I hope everyone is well. I'm doing good. Medieval Dead, I hope you're keeping well. Coming in at the last few minutes of the live stream. Boss Royale says, who is your favorite arm wrestler? Tough question there. It changes so much. I like Vitali a lot. I like Kidergali a lot. There's so many, man. It's hard to choose. But yeah, those two definitely up there right now. Yeah, I know, Eric. I heard those two. But yeah, nothing really seemed to come to fruition. The White Wolf coming in with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, White Wolf. That's way too generous. That's way too much, man. Says strongman shit arm historian. Imagine grabbing a telephone pole, running with it and flipping it end over end and having it flip in a straight line. Crazy Scottish Highland shiz. I'd wager Claymore has definitely tossed that caber before. Yeah, he definitely looks like it, right? He's from the right region, so yeah, I've seen that before. That's awesome, man. You managed to do it. That's crazy. I think the tree would just crush me if I tried it. Like the pole would just crush me. But that's crazy. If you've got footage of it, I'd love to see it, White Wolf. I don't have to share it with chat necessarily, but I'd love to take a look at it. Thanks so much, by the way, man. That's, like I said, way too generous. You don't have to do it. I'll read your message anyways. But I do appreciate all the support. Too much. Iron Golem says, I think if refs asked both athletes if they want to start in a strap directly, while going each time into a very strict rest grip and having loser fault rules would be good. Yeah. To be fair, in most leagues you can ask to go directly to strap and they will allow it, so it's already kind of in place, right? Tomer says, my hot take is if you don't think Dennis is the strongest ever, then you haven't seen enough Dennis edits on YouTube. Dennis is definitely up there, I agree. Boss Royale says, you should do a live stream with Devon. That would be a good watch. Yeah, I'll definitely contact Devon and ask if he's available in about 2 weeks when I'll be doing more live streams. But yeah, I think it's gonna be hard to get him on the stream, although he might. There's a lot of really top level arm wrestlers that are very generous with their time. So yeah, maybe Devon is one of them. I have talked to him before several times. He's aware of my existence, so that's something, right? Engvis says, fucking hell, your character creeps me out. Sorry, man, that's just my face. Can't really change it. Yeah, White Wolf, hit me up with a video if you find one. I'd love to see that, man. Not because I don't believe you. That's not the reason I'm asking if you would think that. It's just because I really want to see it. For the straps, why don't they have 2 gloves just glued together? Seriously. Be hard to climb in gloves, right? Glued together. Be hard to get any height on the hand. But yeah, guys, I will be rounding out the stream here. I appreciate everyone for coming by. I had a really good night talking to you guys about arm wrestling. Like I said, I stayed way longer than I should have and that I was planning to. But that's just because it's so much fun talking to you guys about arm wrestling. And I say it many times, but I'll keep saying it. I love this community. Thanks again for the super chat. That's not why I love you guys, but I just had to mention it again. Thanks again for the very generous super chats. Yeah, you guys' support means a lot. That's why I keep doing this. If it wasn't for you guys, I'd be gone. I'd probably be gone since like a year or something. There would be no arm historian, so yeah, thanks again, man. I hope you join me next Sunday, same time, same place. I'll be here. I have something planned, I hope it works. And if not, the week after that Sunday, I'll be going live, like I said, 3 to 4 times during that week. It's the week of the 26th of August. I'll be making some announcements on my Instagram, my community tab, on YouTube. And I hope to see you guys there. I have interviews planned, viewer call-ins, one more interactive thing that I'll keep kind of a surprise, and also a different setup. You'll get to see me training, hopefully, on the arm wrestling table. So that'll be exciting, I think. Yeah. Hope to see you guys again. Indeed, like Muscle Bike says, our little corner of the sport. We'll be very happy to have you. See you guys later. Have a good one. Have a good week. Stay strong. And, Arm Historian, out of here. Bye-bye.